been a long month. Much better. So like I was saying, it's been a tough month. I definitely bit off a project that was much bigger than I've ever handled before. So I had a time crunch involved with this, and you've seen what I've been doing with it. Putting together an entire army in a matter of about 3 weeks was tough. I went from this to this. So at the end of the day, I did succeed in the project. I did succeed in the goals, which was to build and paint an entirely different army, an entirely new army, my Sisters of Battle, ready for LVO. And I took them to Las Vegas, and that was the culmination of all of this month's work of tough work. It was a lot of work to get it all done, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of late nights, I had blood, I had sweat, I had late night tears. I had a lot going on. I had mental breakdowns and all of it. It was tough. It was very, very tough. But I managed to do it, and it was because of the encouragement I was getting from you guys. If I'm being honest, I don't think I probably would have been able to do this if I didn't have all of you waiting and watching to see if I did succeed or not. So at the end of the day, I do have you guys to thank for helping me get through this, and I got it done, and I'm very excited to have it done. So now I have an entirely new army that I can use in battle reports, that I can bring with me to competitive play, whatever I want to do. I've got it, and I've done it now. I think that the models came out fantastic. I was very excited with how they ended up and how they were for me in Las Vegas. I managed to get them to a place that is not just tabletop ready, but I think tabletop plus, which is often what I try to get my models to. I want to get them to a place where I can play them in a competitive tournament, but I can also be proud of what it is that I accomplished. I think that there's some more that I want to do with them. The images that you're seeing here are ones of where I got them to over the course of that 3 weeks. This is how they were when I brought them to Las Vegas, and how they were when I finished them at like 3:30 in the morning before I had to leave for the airport at about 4:30. So that's how they were, and I think they were good. I was proud of them. Not just decent, not just acceptable. I think they were good, and I was very proud to field them out there. And the people that saw them were also very impressed, and not just because I did it in a month. They were very, they were pleased with them, and then I told them I did it in 3 weeks, and they were shocked. So bringing them there, seeing people's reaction, and hopefully seeing your reaction now, I'm very proud of what I was able to accomplish, and I was able to accomplish it because of you guys. Like I said, I set out to create this 2,000 point list, build and paint this 2,000 point list. I built a little more than 2,000 points, and I have them there. But I was able to craft a list with what I had and put it together. So I still have more to go in the Sisters Army, and they will continue to come out. I'm sure you will see them in future videos. You'll also see future videos in how like details about this painting. But I wanted to kind of talk about the project as a whole and culminate it and get it together and show you what I accomplished and show you what I was able to do in this time. And no small feat, no small measure to the products that I was able to get from the army painter. So during this process, I taught myself how to utilize the speed paints. I've never used anything before, so I'd never even used the contrasts before. I've only ever used the speed paints, so I was doubly enlightened by them, not just for how they were, but also for how just that type of paint reacted. I learned some things along the way. How to use them properly, how to use them best, how to enhance them, how to also use them in an airbrush. I taught myself how to airbrush I have 2 new models now that have been airbrushed that I've never had a model that I've really airbrushed before. I had this airbrush since I was up in Alaska, and I used to use it a little bit in Alaska to basically put down base coats on my Dark Angels. That's all I used it for. It was green, basically. And I was very pleased with what I was able to accomplish. You know, there's a general amount of airbrush knowledge or hobby knowledge that you kind of aggregate over time as you just kind of go about your daily lives as a hobbyist out there in the scene. So I was able to utilize that, and I was able to create some models that I was very pleased with. You know, this is actually using the airbrush the way it's supposed to be, not just the base coat, but also to create some effects on them. So I got, you know, I got the basic shading on it, so a basic highlight on it with the airbrush, which was exciting. It was exciting to see it, you know, and I was able to use the speed paints through it so that the colors matched with the rest of my army, and it was awesome. I was very pleased with how it came. I also used it on a bunch of the gold here on my characters, which was something that I hadn't expected to use metallics on it. And using the Army Painter air paints were great, and I'll go into that further detail in another video. But I was pleased with how it went. It was the airbrushing. My previous attempts at airbrushing had been messes. They were clogging a lot, and it was a lot of work and a lot of effort for not a great amount, anything better than I could have gotten from a rattle can. And this one, it was a lot of mess. It was a lot of stuff going on, but it was a product that I couldn't have gotten from a rattle can. And that's the first time I've had that with this tool. So I was pleased with being able to do that. And also the speed with which I was able to paint a vehicle was awesome. I really loved it, you know? Not having to do edge highlights to make it look good was nice. So I've got a basic there. And like I said, I can go back, now that I have these all done, I can go back and I can make them even better. So I can go back and do some weathering on the vehicles. I can do some touch-ups on the individual models. I have plans for what I want to do, like the melt to burn that I've done on a lot of other weapons. I want to do that again on my sisters and do that and just enhance them even more and create an army that I could be super proud of. Like right now I'm very proud, and I could be super proud with just a little bit more effort and time. But the fact that I did this all and I made these, and you know, I built them from you know, bare plastic kits to fully painted army that is beautiful was great. I was able to do that in 3 weeks, you know, and the basing looks amazing too. That was a whole process learning how to do that. This is the first time I've worked with resin bases and I got these ones from the fine folks at Shadow's Edge Miniatures. So go check them out. I'll have a link in the description below. They were kind enough to send over some of their bases that match with a sister's army. And I think they look great. It was an easy process to also make them look good, which was awesome. So all I had to do was wash them, primed them white, and then I used the Holy White Army Painter white, the speed paint white on top of it, and it created it like a marble, you know, a marble looking ruin, which was great, and it looked fantastic. And they looked better, and even the flight stands were nicer to work with than a lot of the plastic ones that you'll get in the basic kit. So yeah, I was pleased with how it all turned out. I was exhausted, I was tired, and I slept on the flight over there to Las Vegas. But when I got there, it was all worth it. I got to go in there and I got to play. I won 2 games out of my 6 against 6 incredible opponents. I had a lot of fun with every single one of them. Came away with an enjoyable experience in all of them, and getting 2 wins when I was worried about going 0-6. I'll take that. I'll take that as a victory for myself. But it was a ton of fun to be able to do it, and like I said, I got to meet a lot of people that I hadn't met before. I got to take part in Vanguard Tactics Master Class, learning the intricacies of how to approach the competitive scene and competitive games. I've been in a lot of them, but I don't think I've got that kind of mentality. So it was nice to be able to see that and get that kind of tutelage from someone who is very successful in the competitive scene. It was awesome, and I got to hang out with some friends that I haven't seen in years now at this point because of everything that's been going on. It was nice to be able to get back out there and go to an event, a big event, and see a lot of people and be able to do a lot of things that we kind of had done for a long time before, and it was nice to be able to do them now and be able to see people and do it. So it was wonderful. It really was wonderful. It was a lot of fun to be able to get into that with everybody. I had a great time. I was very pleased with how the army turned out, and I was very pleased with the work that I put in for the last 3 weeks. It was tough. It was very, very tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's been very stressful. It's been racking at me, and it's been it's been a lot to be able to handle all of this. But like I said, thanks to a lot of you guys and all your encouragement that you had, all the excitement that you had for this army, the products that I was working with, teaching myself new techniques that were able to do this in a way that I hadn't done before, all of it, I think at the end of the day was worth it, as you can see in this army, because you can see them. They look beautiful. I'm very, very pleased with how they turned out. And that's not just because I have to be pleased, but because I am pleased. I'm legitimately pleased with how they look. And if I didn't do anything more to them, I would be happy to field them on the battlefield any day of the week. But now the fact that that they're even, in my opinion, even better makes me super excited to be able to work with them and make them a recurring force out there on Glacial Geek battle reports going forward. So, but yeah, I'm super pleased with everything that I was able to accomplish. I was, and it was all about learning what I could do and how I could do it to make things look good and make things look the way I want them to, while also managing to save time, because the whole point of this project was that it was a time crunch. If I had done this over the course of a year, it would be a completely different kind of project. But the fact was, I put myself in this time crunch, and I wanted it to be after the time crunch. I wanted it to be interesting, and I wanted it to be exciting, and I wanted it to be a feat to have accomplished. So I think the combination of utilizing new tools like the speed paints, like the airbrush, new techniques, and realizing what I needed to do with them to make them look the way I wanted to. So I didn't want to just do an only speed painted army, because I think that they're an incredible tool that really helps you get your base colors really well. But I think that using them in conjunction with other paints is really where they shine, is really where they work well, because it saves you a ton of time getting your base coats to a place that you're happy with where it looks great. So you've got, one coat, and suddenly you've got your base coat, you've got your shadows, and you've got your highlights in it on the majority of your model. And then you just go back in there with some regular paints, and you make them look even better. I came to some realizations as I was going along. When you're working with these kind of speed paints, it really helps to have a clear coat in between when you're using the speed paints. When you're going to go to the regular paints, it helps keep things separated, which is great. And it was, all of it was a learning process, going through and trying to figure out what I needed to do to make it all work. And I think it did. And I was very pleased with how it was. I had a ton of fun in Las Vegas. I got to hang out with friends, and it was exhausting. I was exhausted after an entire month of this. I was exhausted from the travel. I was exhausted from 6 games of Warhammer over the course of 2 days. And I was, it was a lot of fun, and it was well worth it. I think so. I did crash the next day when I got back from Las Vegas, but I think it was totally worth it, and I think it was great. So I'm thanking you guys for everything that you've done for helping me along with this. And this project's not yet done. There's plenty of more videos coming out, going into the intricacies of what it took to paint all of these. I've got some, I think there are going to be some really interesting videos going forward showing how I painted them, the way I painted them, and just the techniques, and making them look good. So I appreciate all you guys have done for me, and I appreciate hopefully going forward. So if you guys want to see more, remember to share, like, and subscribe, as they always say on YouTube. I don't do that enough. I don't self-promote, and I've been yelled at by many of you and certainly many of my friends that I don't self-promote enough. So, I'm very pleased with what we've done as a community, and I want to keep going forward with this, and this is exciting. So this was a ton of fun. It was a lot of work. Will I do it again? I can't say I won't. Do I want to do it again? Probably not. But could I do it again? Absolutely. Absolutely. Knowing that I can make it through this and make it at the end of this made it worth it. And it was not necessarily enjoyable from start to finish, but it was an accomplishment. And I think some of the greatest accomplishments you can achieve are not necessarily thoroughly enjoyable from start to finish. They're just something that you manage to do, and you find the grit and you keep going. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.
I guess.